So I want to talk about this concept of emotional audacity. Audacity. When you hear the word audacity, just shout out, a couple of you. What does that make you think of? Boldness, cheek, yeah. Anyone else? Outrageous. One more? Rude? Oh, okay, interesting. Someone said something over here? Anger. Oh, interesting. Okay. So the way that I've used it here, audacity, is the person that said boldness, brave. We can say emotional courage or emotional boldness. It doesn't have the same ring to it as emotional audacity, right? There's something about taking action in a really bold, brave, doing it this minute way. And if we want to create a positive feedback culture, we need to develop a bit of emotional audacity, right? How many here of you do go to the gym or do exercise regularly? Yeah, so a lot of you do, okay? So you can think about emotional audacity as being your emotional reps. Did you say that thing to your colleague that is a little bit uncomfortable for you to say, but you know it needed saying? I was listening to a Keynote speaker once, and he was talking about every day having one, even if it's slightly courageous, conversation. And then that way you're lifting your weights, you're doing your yoga or whatever it is, but in terms of communicating freely and with emotional audacity with your colleagues. So let's define it a bit more closely. Emotional audacity is the courage to express yourself boldly, but you also make space for others to do the same. How many of you know people that are really good at dishing it out, but they really hate to have feedback come back to them? Yeah, I think we all know people like that, right? But emotional audacity isn't just about dishing it out. It's also having the bravery, the courage to listen back to what people are saying to you. So it's speaking up with conviction. You don't overpower them, but you share transparently and you listen. So you might say your piece and you say, well, what do you feel about that? I'd love to hear your side of things. And again, this is not easy. It's not easy to do at all. It's much easier to dish it up and then walk away than to say something courageous and then say, I want to hear from you as well. So I want to share with you this emotional audacity, caring and daring matrix, okay? And I want you to think about where you are on this, because we're going to do a little exercise in a moment where you discuss where you feel you are on this matrix. So if we go from low caring and low daring, you can see here we've got passive or withholding. So these are people who hate conflict, right? And they fail to speak up. But also they are quite uninvolved, maybe a little bit cold, okay, impassive, low impact. So that's low on daring and low on caring. Then we go to, let's go up to the high daring but low caring. So these people are the ones that love to dish it up, okay? But what can happen is they can cause friction, right? It says fearless but fracturing. So they may not create much trust around them. They don't have a lot of empathy for other people. And they can be seen as maybe callous, intimidating, a little bit harsh, okay? Then if we go to low daring but high caring, now you've got people who are super compassionate, but they may not act. They don't have that audacity, the boldness to take action and speak up. So they may think, well, you know what? The outcome would be better if I spoke up, but I just want to keep the peace. I want there to be harmony on the team. Let's just stay at this level. I'm not going to share. And then we get the sweet spot, which is emotionally audacious. And here you've got people who are transparent. They're brave enough to say the tough things that need saying. They are empathetic as well, and they understand the impact of what they're saying that thing might be. But they're also human, okay? So this is the sweet spot. And as you look at that matrix, I want you to think about where you are. And it could be context specific as well. Maybe some people you are emotionally audacious with, and others you're more passive. So how do we practice emotional audacity? And we're going to get into some of this today. First of all, create an atmosphere of psychological safety. So people feel safe sharing with you and you feel safe sharing with them. Develop self-awareness and self-compassion. Self-awareness is super important here because you might feel that some people trigger you more than others. Some people you feel, I'm happy to speak up with them and not this other person. Do you recognize that? Do you understand why? And then be willing to speak up and take action. Deliver your feedback transparently, but with empathy and respect for that person. And then ask quality questions, which is the thing I didn't do all those years ago. I was too afraid. I don't think I even had the wherewithal to ask questions about my performance in those days. But asking questions, listening, and taking the feedback on board without feeling defensive. So I want to take a couple of minutes now for you to share with a partner, and I want you to discuss with them, 1, are you emotionally audacious? If not, why not? Okay, why not? Is it that you've got more of a quiet character? Is it that perhaps on your team you don't feel safe? Or you've spoken up in the past and somebody kind of slapped you down or ignored you? So why not? And then, what do you personally need to work on? Is it for you being more daring? Or maybe you need to be a bit more caring, a bit more empathetic. Or maybe there's something else I haven't even mentioned here, which is a factor for you. So I'd love you to, in pairs ideally, so that both people have a go, right? Just take 3 minutes now. Make sure you switch. I'll yell out switch after about 1.5 minutes, and just discuss this with a partner, please.